I really think we need to have a conversation about where the birthday gifts are going, and you can decide whether they're still good, if they've gotten worse, if you feel like they're better. I originally did this as a blog post where I did a deep dive, 5-year deep dive. It's still up on Nubelease.com if you want to check it out. And I ended up ranking the birthday gift years. I want to look back at that now that we have another year, 2025, to look at. I want to see in the last 5 years or so, what would we rank these birthday gift years? As a matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and start from 2020 though. So technically it'll be 6 years, but I feel like we need to start there and then see. Watch this video and you tell me in the comments, which years do you feel like were the best or the worst, or share with me your own ranking because I want to know what you think. So when I was thinking about the blog post and when I wrote it originally over a year ago, I was thinking about things like, okay, what kind of brands are they putting in the gift options and how available are they? Of course, now they've introduced, or the last few years, they've introduced this idea of some gifts being available for VIB and Rouge members, some of them being online only, and then the rest of them being available to everyone. So there's all these little nuances. Also, of course, the variety of gifts, because different beauty lovers like different things. You may only be a Sephora lover because of hair products or because of fragrance or even, makeup or just skincare. So they've got to have a good variety too, right? And then also, does this product feel like a special birthday gift, not just like a free gift with purchase? Of course, with beauty retailers like Sephora and Ulta, there are always different options for free gift for purchases and add-ons, samples. And so do these feel like something special for the birthday gift, or does it kind of feel like free gift with purchase? Let's talk about 2020. This was an interesting time, of course, and I'm actually kind of surprised that Sephora still gave birthday gift options, but there were quite a few. You could get something from Milk Makeup, from Charlotte Tilbury, from Briogeo, from Sol de Janeiro, from Jo Malone or NARS. Overall, these were recognizable popular brands at the time, and there was a variety of a hair product, there was fragrance, there's makeup, there's body care, which I think is really interesting because body care is now such a popular category for a lot of beauty lovers. I wonder if Sephora is going to try to infuse more body care products. I mean, we've already seen the 2026 gifts, and if you're following me on any social media platforms, please do at Nubelease. I just went through the first set of 2026 birthday gifts, and it's interesting. I didn't see body care, but I really feel like that may be a big winner this year. Anyway, back to 2020, there was an option for pretty much all types of beauties, and they were consistent. I remember back in 2020, now maybe side note, maybe the gifts were more available during this time because there was so much going on. And obviously the country shut down for a considerable amount of time. And so maybe there were things still in stock for longer. The Jo Malone definitely went in and out really fast. Anytime there's a luxury fragrance option, it seems to go away real fast. But the rest of them stayed in stock decently. Now, I have a December birthday. I remember distinctly that by the time we got to that December time, I chose the NARS gift, and I remember the NARS gift being available, the Sol de Janeiro gift being available, and maybe the Briogeo. I know for a fact the Milk Makeup was not an option. I don't think the Charlotte Tilbury was an option, and the Jo Malone had been gone. So yeah, let me know if you remember that time. What did you choose? I ended up liking the NARS gift set. I did use the lip product a lot, but the Laguna bronzer, this is before, I'll have to check my notes. I think this is before they released another version of the Laguna bronzer. For the longest time, NARS had just that one bronzer. Then they ended up doing a lighter version and a deeper version. This one didn't really work for me as a bronzer, obviously. So I was using it more as a color corrector over my eyes to just even out the tone, or just kind of brush over the skin. It was almost more of a flesh tone color, a skin tone color for me. Side note. Overall, 2020 was a pretty good year. There was a variety of options. There were recognizable brands, and there was only one foil packet, right? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. It was a little bit of a, hectic time, so we'll give them grace. 2021, there was about 5 different options. And right off the bat, we're seeing NARS again, the exact same set. Now, I wonder if this set was an option as well because not a lot of beauties were choosing it and they had a lot of stock left over. And so they kept it as a gift. I'm not sure. There was a Rare Beauty set with 2 blushes. Well, actually a blush and a lip product. There was a Kerastase set. There was a Laneige Trio set and a Moroccan Oil set. One thing I can say, no foil packets. So that already helps. But, honestly, Rare Beauty was the standout this year. A lot of beauties like the Laneige set as well. There were good options, but not anything that felt different from what you could get as free samples at this point. Also, to keep in mind, as we go through the years, more and more of these brands start to become available on Ulta Beauty's website. And we all know that Ulta has better reward options. They have more free samples and free gift with purchases. They're always giving out little freebies. So at this point, it's already going to start getting like, is this special or different? Or is Sephora just kind of throwing us something? Because most of these things you can get as samples from the retailer or from Ulta Beauty. I don't know. There was also like a lot of excitement about the Laneige set and the Rare Beauty set. And if I can remember, that one pretty much went away really fast. Of course, this is also a time where by the end of the year, there's almost nothing left. I'm trying to think of what I got. I pretty much remembered getting the Laneige set. I know the Rare Beauty wasn't available. I would have probably chosen the Moroccan Oil if it was in stock. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. This was just starting to get a little bit hectic because this is another one of those years where there wasn't as many options and then so many options went out of stock. So then you were left with like 1 or 2 options. And as a matter of fact, if there wasn't anything left, I would have had to get the NARS set again because you didn't have that many options. There was only 5 options. This wasn't that great of a year. Let's talk about 2022 real quick. This is where I think they got the feedback. I remember specifically beauties talking about how they're just like over it. Like we're seeing repeat brands. 2021, y'all were trying to give us the same gift, the same NARS gift. Now we're getting a little bit better because they amped up the options. You got, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7 different options throughout the year. For some reason, they decided to bring back the NARS duo set again, which who was asking for that? But they did bring in some other good options that were popular. You got an option for Nest that had 2 fragrances and a mini candle. There was an Ilia option that had a mascara, a lip product, and a little sample. What was the little sample? Let me see in my list. It was a hydrating treatment mask. It was sort of like not a foil sample, but just like a little packet sample, but it was a little trio set. There was also the duo set from Laura Mercier, which had the setting powder and one of their eye cream stick eye creams, not eye creams. What is it called? Caviar stick, their eyeshadow. Oh my gosh, in the shade Strapless. There was a duo set from Olaplex. This is when we're starting to see Olaplex, which by now I think we're Olaplex fatigued because we see the samples and the birthday gifts from Olaplex a lot between Sephora and Ulta, but this was just the new part of it. So this was a very popular gift. There was also a trio set from Amika that had like a dry shampoo. It looks like a mask and like a foil packet sample. There was a Tatcha option, and then there was a new Charlotte Tilbury option. So you got more options this year, but then we were bringing in some of those like foil packet sample type things that just kind of were fluff. And at this point, Sephora loves to give a foil packet. That's what they're going to give you. If they're going to give you anything, they're going to give you a foil packet and you better not even say nothing about it. They just started in the last few years giving more mini samples for their rewards area, not their points rewards, but for like their free gift with purchases. Because they used to just be foil packet sample heavy. Now you're getting a little bit more minis. We're going on a tangent here, but I'm just saying the foil packets, no one wants. So I don't even count that as an extra item. You know what I'm saying? Do you count them as an extra item? Like if we're talking about 3 items in a little set and you give me a foil packet, I'm considering it a duo set. Because the foil packet is not going to do very much at all. I think this is also the year where they introduced the idea of VIB and Rouge exclusive gifts. So if I remember correctly, the Nest perfume gift and the Charlotte Tilbury were exclusive to VIB and Rouge. Maybe even the Tatcha too, but I know for sure every time Charlotte Tilbury shows up, it was pretty much a VIB Rouge exclusive. And most of the time, the fragrances will be too. They've changed it up a little bit since then because I think, there was a lot of backlash about the idea of the fragrances being the Rouge gifts. But I'm always VIB and Rouge, so that kind of worked out. What did I get that year? I'll have to look back in my archive. I keep photos and screenshots of like everything, so I'll have to think about it. I have a sneaking suspicion that I got the Laura Mercier gift if I didn't get the Charlotte Tilbury. Not sure. What do you think about 2022? We got more options, a wider spread, more minis within the sets, but some foil packets. You let me know. Real quick, if you find these like completely unnecessary deep dives about beauty products and Sephora and Ulta fun, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I've got so many different videos coming soon, and follow Nubelease.com and at Nubelease on all social media platforms. 2023, wow. There's a lot to talk about with 2023. There was so much going on. You got lots of like hot viral brands this year, like Patrick Ta, Ilia, Glow Recipe. They brought back a Nest gift. There was a Way gift, Pharmacy gift, and then there was Kerastase, and you also got points option, which I think was really helpful because sometimes beauties just don't want whatever is left or whatever is an option, and giving beauties points really helps because there are 100 point options and 250 plus point options in the rewards bazaar, so you can essentially choose something that you want for yourself. That is so helpful. Let's talk about this Dior gift set. Oh my gosh. I remember reporting on this, of course, on Nubelease.com because I run down all of the Sephora and Ulta birthday gifts and update them every time there's a new one. Sephora originally set out with a set of birthday gifts. I think later on they added in this, or actually it got leaked online that there was going to be a Dior fragrance set available. As soon as that dropped, because of course you never know when it's going to come out. As soon as that dropped, it was finished and done. Like there was no way you were going to get it immediately once it came out. There were very few beauties who got it. But what you did see is that exact fragrance set all online on eBay, on Mercari, on all of those resale places. That's where you found it. Beauties really like the scammers were scamming. Okay, the scammers decided they were going to get them, resell, maybe steal them. They were doing so many different things. You saw this gift set online for sale more than it was in stores. Quickly, Sephora made this Dior set an in-store only option. But this is already after so many beauties had grabbed it, had grabbed multiples, and they were selling online. And I really feel like they did that as damage control, knowing full well that there were no stores that had them in store to get. This was just a mess. And as a matter of fact, it ended up overshadowing some of the other really good gift options. By the time it became my birthday in December, I chose the Patrick Ta set. I actually even took pictures and stuff like that about the set. This is one of the gifts that I always say, if there's something that you don't want, if it's something you can use, give it a try because you may not realize how much you love it. This set with the Patrick Ta brow gel and the lip gloss made me in love with that lip gloss. I never thought that I would have tried it. I love it so much. It's got this beautiful sheen and glimmer that looks so pretty on the lips. I love this. This was one of those things where I tried it, never would have thought I would have tried it, and loved it. Also, there weren't that many gifts left in general. The whole debacle with the Dior fragrance set was already over, but there wasn't a Nest option anymore as we got closer through the end of the year. The Ilia set was not available as well. I think by the time we got to my birthday, what was left was Pharmacy, Patrick Ta, and the Kerastase. Of course, the beauties love Way as well, so that one was a popular option, and just overall, it was a disappointment. So many good options to the point where everyone was grabbing up whatever they could, and what was left was probably the least popular options. With Pharmacy, I already had all those products, so I didn't need that one. I probably should have tried the Kerastase because everything I tried from that brand, I really like. I ended up with the Patrick Ta, and I really liked it, so it was a win-win. What do you think about 2023's option? With all the chaos, did you get a gift that you really wanted, that you were able to use? Let me know. Let's talk about 2024. I thought that Sephora would have got their act together. Based on the Dior debacle of 2023, I just knew that they were going to fix it. They didn't. They added more options, but they ended up having essentially the same problem over again. There were so many different things to choose from. There was a Kosas set, a Youth to the People set. There was a Vegamore set that showed up later in the year, a Summer Friday set, a YSL Beauty fragrance set, something from Charlotte Tilbury, from Giorgio Armani. We got to talk about that one too. You could also choose the 250 points and a Moroccan oil set and a Gucci Flora set. So many different options, really, really strong brands, lots of fragrance, but they had some missteps. Well, of course, same thing happens as it always does. The Gucci set, the YSL Beauty set was really hard to get to, and when it dropped, they were pretty much gone. I ended up going with the Kosas set, which was a pretty good option. And I do remember there being a lot more options left, like the Summer Fridays and the Youth to the People and the Charlotte Tilbury set. But overall, it just ended up being like the ones that are the most popular. Every time the fragrance sets completely go out of stock, and then you see them for sale. Like, there's got to be a way for for Sephora to get that together. At this point, I do think that, like, even if they portioned, like they decided that they were going to have the sets available and they were going to make sure that there was a certain amount every quarter or every 3 months or so, I still think that the resellers would just buy them and then that would be it, you know? I also remember the reason why I say the Giorgio Armani. This is the first and I think only time I remember Sephora actually doing a separate gift for Kohl's. So the Giorgio Armani set was pretty elusive. And when it dropped exclusively for Sephora at Kohl's locations. And so most beauties really couldn't get to it. I noticed that in 2025 and for this year, they have not so far introduced an exclusive to Kohl's option. I think that's best because not a lot of beauties have a Sephora at Kohl's close to them or available to them. And it just kind of makes it like another hassle to try to like get that specific gift. They also did give you an option for the 250 points, which I think they should do at all times every year. And overall, what do you think? I think there were really great options, but at this point, y'all might as well just get rid of the fragrance option if y'all not going to have it available. And if you're going to let, resellers just grab all of them, there's got to be a way to figure it out, I don't know. There probably isn't. So now that I think about it, it's like, there's no way of knowing when they're going to drop the fragrance ones. You can make different accounts so that you get the gift you want. I don't know. You let me know. Then we head to last year. 2025's gifts list was really good, actually. I think that there were really good options for everyone. I did a full video after I purchased all of the gifts to try them out, and there really were good hits. All of the gifts. I really liked all of them. There was some fragrance options from Juliet Has a Gun, the Kayali set, the K18 for hair, Amika for hair, Kerastase for hair. There was skincare from Laneige and Summer Fridays. There was, the fragrance for Burberry as well. There was Rare Beauty. Now, again, all of these weren't available at all times, but these were great options. All really popular brands that people love. There was something for everyone. And I even said that in this year, this was probably the first year I felt like there were options for younger beauty lovers. We know now for the last year or two, there's been like all this talk of like Sephora Kids and like younger preteens and teens really getting into skincare and beauty. And I feel like there were some options there. Even if there wasn't fragrance, the Rare Beauty product is definitely something that a preteen or teen could get into. The Summer Friday set was like that as well. These weren't necessarily gifts that you only could use if you were like a avid beauty user. You had something that you can get even if you were younger, or split or, share with a beauty lover or an up and coming beauty lover. There was definitely the same chaos of trying to get one of the fragrance options. Even though the Juliet set was available, the Burberry set went really fast. The Kayali set went very fast. So I don't know. What can you do about it? I guess there's no way of really knowing when these are going to drop, like I said, so you kind of just get what you get. There were quite a few options left at the end of the year. I got the Makeup by Mario set, I think. Is that what I chose? Now I can't remember which one. I think I chose the Makeup by Mario set. No, I bought it. I bought all of them. Which one did I get? Oh, I'm kidding. Okay. I chose the Amiga set. I just talked about that. I haven't used it yet, but it was one of the only gift options available. Let me say this though. 2025 was the first year that I saw that there was no options left in stock in December. I just so happened to get the Amiga set, and when I got it, which was like December 1st, after that, it was done. That was the last option you could get. That is really bad. Like, if you are a part of the program, you should be able to choose something, and there was nothing available online, meaning that you had to go in store and get whatever they had left. And if you didn't have a store close to you, then you got nothing. And I don't think that there wasn't anything that you could do other than get the points. It was a little bit disappointing. I was happy to get the Amiga set, but it was very frustrating from beauties online that talked about it on TikTok and Instagram and very much on Reddit that there weren't any gift options. How do you just have nothing available, nothing in stock? So what do you think? We just went through all of the different years. Which year do you feel like was the best, and which year do you feel like was the worst? Originally, in my blog post that I published over a year ago, I said that the worst gift year was 2021, and I still feel like that. It just was not giving. There weren't that many options. They just felt like, free gift with purchases. It wasn't really that great. I say 2025 is right under there because y'all ran out of stock. How are you going to run out of stock online when you get most of your orders probably online? Like, I know people are going to Sephora stores, but let's be honest, like, a lot of beauties are putting their orders online. They may not have a Sephora location close to them, or they may not be able to get to one during their birthday month. So you kind of force everyone to get their gift in store. And even still, most of the beauties we're talking about, there was one option in store. After that, I think 2022 was a little bit better. There were more options, but there were a lot of repeating options or things that we had already seen before. Then I think it gets a lot better. 2020, I'm going to give right after that. It's really on the same level as 2022. It was exciting brands. There was a fragrance option, but it was just bad timing. And because of the 2020 options, I think that's why we ended up seeing that NARS set multiple times, literally for the next 3 years afterwards. 2023 is after that though. That was really good. You got hot brands, popular brands, great options, and a really big luxury fail. But if we take that out, it was a really good year. And then I would say 2024. I would say the best Sephora year was 2024. You got some repeating brands and some foil packets, but you got lots of options. And I really feel like the options is what you need to give the beauties. There's got to be some hair options, some fragrance options, skincare, makeup, all of that. And there were the most options during this year. So I think 2024 was the best year. Of course, if you like this unnecessarily long deep dive about things that are, not that important, like beauty gifts from Sephora, subscribe to my channel. I have more videos coming soon. And of course, I just went through the 2026 Sephora birthday gift options. I'm going to do a full review because I bought all of the options / I already had them in my collection. I'm going to be doing a full review. So I'll be back with that. And I hope that you enjoyed.